You're now watching Mugen TV.
Hey guys, it's Mugen here, and I'm back again with another video. And here's part 2 to my Super Smash Bros. Nintendo Switch mini-series, and I really appreciate the feedback that you guys have left with part 1. If you guys haven't checked out part 1, I advise you to check it out, because the first one really addresses of how Nintendo should go about releasing the game in its roster. And I said that the base roster should scale back a bit to 28 characters, and I was surprised that I was expecting everybody to disagree with me, but it looks like that in the comment section, as far as opinions are concerned, has been split into 3 groups. You have the one side who agree with the scaling back of the roster and the 28 characters that I have, and then you also have the people in the middle who definitely agree that they should scale back a bit, but should bump up the base roster number above 28 characters to pretty much to have Nintendo at least cherry pick some of the characters to represent each of their Nintendo franchises. And then you have the third group who just flat out disagree and think that Nintendo should add on to more characters and not remove anything. So I really appreciate that. If you guys are just new to my channel, please check out the video. It's really fun. I like to see everybody get involved and have just like-minded discussions and just give their opinions. And I think it's really fun. So now in this video, we're going to be addressing the roster itself and DLC. Now in this, I really want to go over the characters in the roster that we have so far. I said 28 characters, so I want to just name off some of most of the characters that I want in the roster, because I did say that as far as newcomers is concerned, there's supposed to be 8 characters that's going to be part of the base roster. 8 newcomers is going to be in the base roster, and I said that my reasoning behind scaling back the roster was for the simple fact is that as long as you have characters or you have gameplay modes that's really in depth and really have variety and is really fun and engaging, then it would justify to scale back the roster if everything else that's packaged in the game makes up for the scaling back of the roster. So let's go over to the returning cast, because this is really important. Like I said before, the returning cast need to have most of the veterans from the original Super Smash Brothers. So we're going to name off these characters. So as far as the returning cast is concerned, we have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, and Yoshi. Of course, they represent the Mario franchise. And then we have Link, Zelda, and Sheik, who represent the Legend of Zelda franchise. Then we had Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, represent the Donkey Kong franchise. Then we have Samus and Zero Suit Samus, of course, Metroid. Then we have every other character that represent their own franchises, which is Ness, Captain Falcon, Kirby, Fox, Pikachu, Pit, Marth, Wii Fit Trainer, Little Mac, and Ice Climbers. And I really think this is important as far as the Ice Climbers concerned, because Ice Climbers has been the most recommended, I guess you could say, requested character to make its debut, to make their return back to the Smash Brothers franchise. Everyone's looking forward to seeing Ice Climbers in Smash Bros. Wii U, and then they turned out to be disappointed once they found out that since the Wii U and the 3DS need to have the same cast members and the same experience, they couldn't put in the Ice Climbers due to the technical aspects of it, and the 3DS couldn't handle it, the hardware couldn't handle it at all, so they had to pretty much X them out. But now, since we in the Smash Brothers Switch, I think it's about time for the Ice Climbers to come back. So to have them part of the base roster once again, I think that's a big win, that's a big plus, and I don't think anybody will argue against that. And I think that people will buy the game just based on knowing that Ice Climbers is back in return and they're in the base roster. So then we're going to move on to newcomers, because the newcomers is really interesting, because like I said before, newcomers is going to have up to 8 characters that's going to make up the base roster, which gives us a total of 28 characters. So let's go just dive right into it. So as far as newcomers concerned, you see the 8 characters right here, and we're gonna go through them one by one. So as you can see, like I said in the last video, that I expect that the Breath of the Wild Link is going to replace the traditional Smash Bros. Link that we had throughout the past couple years and throughout the other entries. So I'm like I said before, I'm sticking to my guns that the Breath of the Wild Link is going to have new gameplay. I don't think it's going to be just I guess an alternate costume, but he's going to have new gameplay, so he's going to feel like a fresh new experience, a fresh new character. And me being the Link main, like I said before, I've been super excited for some changes considered concerning Link, and I want to see what other gameplay styles that he'll have. And I can't wait to see what Sakurai and Nintendo and the team is going to do with Link. And then of course, like I said, I wanted to go off the cuff with this one. I'm pretty sure that they'll probably do the same thing with Zelda, give Zelda a Breath of the Wild take on the character and change up her moveset to make her more interesting, because like I said before, man, I think Nintendo had really done Zelda wrong as far as the Twilight Princess design and her moveset altogether. I think she was just the worst character in the game. She wasn't fun to play at all, and hopefully they do her some justice in this iteration of Zelda, because I think Zelda can be pretty kick-ass if they put a lot of time and effort into her. So now we're going to move over to brand new characters, period, that's going to be added as newcomers to the Smash Brothers franchise for the Nintendo Switch. Now the thing is, I always love the champions in Breath of the Wild. I think they have cool backstory, they're cool character designs and everything. Now if it was up to me, I would have all 4 of the champions in the base roster, but we can't get ahead of ourselves because we don't want to drown the base roster with too many Zelda characters. So if I had to pick one, I would pick definitely the Zora character to be added into the base roster of this game, is because we have yet to see a character with a trident in a Smash Brothers game. We always have characters with swords. We never had characters with axes or any other type of weapon. So I think a trident character would be pretty cool. And also I think she has some pretty cool magical abilities as well from the Breath of the Wild. So adding her part of the base roster for the newcomers, I think that's a plus, and then add the other 3 characters as DLC sometime down the line. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about that later. So we're going to continue back onto the newcomers. Now we have the Inklings from Splatoon. It was only a matter of time that we were definitely going to see the Splatoon characters, the Inkling characters, as characters in Super Smash Brothers sometime in the near future. The moment that Nintendo announced their new IP of Splatoon, I say yes, they're going to definitely be in Smash Brothers, and I'm looking forward to them. We already see in the trailer that they have the male and female Inkling, so there's pretty much a pretty clear chance that we're definitely going to have gender swaps. You can swap between the male and female, similar to how Robin had a gender swap, and yeah, have those characters gender swap with each other. So I think that'd be pretty interesting. Then we're going to move over to Nintendo's newest IP, which is ARMS. I think ARMS is definitely going to probably have a representation in the new Smash Brothers Switch. We have Springman and Ribbon Girl. This is also going to be a gender swap as well, because the characters in ARMS, they are different in as far as their weight is concerned, and as far as their special abilities is concerned. But you can always customize all the characters in ARMS with the same arms, like pretty much. So I think a male and female gender swap between Ribbon Girl and Springman, I think that'll be pretty much exceptional right there. Now I can't wait to see how these characters will play in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch if they happen to be newcomers in the game. But yes, definitely ARMS representation needs to be in this game. So then we have next up Isaac. Now Isaac has been a character that everybody have wanted to see in a Smash Bros. Game for a long time, including me. I think Golden Sun is a pretty awesome franchise that was in of course the Game Boy Advance era, the handheld generation right there. Everyone was pretty much speculating or hoping that he was going to make a I guess you could say an appearance as a playable character in the Nintendo Wii U version, because he was an assist trophy in Smash Bros. Brawl, so they kind of disappointed everybody. But people were hoping that Isaac would make it in for the Smash Bros. Wii U, and it didn't happen. So I think it's about time. You hear me, Nintendo? I think it's about time that Isaac definitely make his appearance and his debut as a playable character in Smash Bros. Switch. And then, of course, we're going to move over to another Star Fox character that's going to represent the franchise, and that's Crystal. I think Crystal also has a big fan base. People are wondering when Nintendo's ever going to pull out Crystal as a playable character as well, and I'm hoping that she also become a playable character. I think she'll be pretty cool. She can have like 2 different costume swaps between her Dinosaur Planet tribal costume and also her Star Fox Assault. And I think the best way to go about this character and approach this character is to give her staff. I think they can create a pretty unique moveset for the character. She don't have to rely on blasters similar to how Star Fox, Star Wolf, and Falco rely on blasters and other things. But I think she can be a really unique character, because like I said before, we don't really have characters with pole arms and tridents and lances and everything like that. So I think Nintendo should really go ham on this character and try to make her as unique as possible. And plus, it's adding another female to the roster as well. So. And then, of course, last but not least, we have another Donkey Kong representative, and that's King K. Rool. I think he's another character that's been heavily demanded from the fan base, even when it came to voting for him on a ballot. I think I'm pretty sure that he was pretty high up there, and we need another big character that's added to the roster. I mean, we only so far in this base roster that I came up with. Donkey Kong and Bowser are only two big hulking characters, so I think King K. Rool would be pretty cool addition to the roster, and plus he's another villain. We need more villains added to the roster as well, and I think King K. Rool would be definitely cool. So that's pretty much the newcomers right there. So what we do is if we take the veterans and we take the newcomers, and this would pretty much what the roster would look like. And if you notice, like I said before, the way I had it, I have Zelda, I have traditional Zelda and traditional Link crossed off in the base roster, so we have a total of 28 characters. This is how our base roster would look out the box, out the gate. This is what fans would pretty much expect from this roster when they buy the game. So now that we have the base roster, and I noticed that everyone in the comment sections was who pretty much disagreed with me, they went under the assumption that this would just be the only size of the roster is going to ever get to be. It won't increase or anything, and that wasn't the point I was trying to make in part 1. I just wanted them to scale back for the base, but of course we're going to have DLC. Come on, most games nowadays utilize DLC for their games. Now the reason why I wanted to start at 28 is because they can add on throughout the years to add on to the game, because now if you notice that a lot of fighting games nowadays go through the DLC approach, and I think what's so unique about what Nintendo's doing different from Capcom and everybody else is when they release most of their DLC, especially for their newer games or their competitive games, they've been releasing a lot of their DLC free. Look at ARMS, free characters for ARMS. Look at Splatoon. They have free content for Splatoon, except for the expansion pack. Unless you add in bigger things to the game, you add more content to the game, of course I can see that paid DLC. But I like what Nintendo's been doing as far as their DLC is concerned. So if we start off small, we can gradually increase. And like I said, the smaller the roster, I believe Nintendo can spend more time in enhancing the gameplay, evolving the gameplay in a way. Because like I said before, when it came to Nintendo Wii U, I can be honest with you, when it came to Smash Bros. Altogether, I played Smash Bros. 64 the most and Melee the most. As Brawl came in the Wii U version, I played them a lot, but I haven't played them as much as I did Melee and as I did the Smash Bros. 64. Now the thing is, when Wii U was first announced, I wasn't really excited about, oh man, what characters are going to be in the game. I was more so looking forward to see what changes was going to be made with the existing cast. Especially, like I said, I'm a Link main, so I wanted to definitely see, was there going to be any changes made to Link? Or are there going to be any changes, because I'm also a Mario, Mario's my secondary character. Also wanted to see where there going to be any changes added to Mario. So I was more so looking forward to changes, because like I said before, adding more characters doesn't mean a complete game. It doesn't mean a different experience because you're adding different characters if the overall gameplay haven't changed. It's just the same gameplay but with more characters. So I was hoping for some more gameplay changes. So now we're going to move on to the DLC, because I wanted to break the DLC into types, because I figured that as far as DLC is concerned, the Nintendo can take a more like a season approach with their DLC, because like I said before with the other Smash Bros. Game, once Smash Bros. Came out and once they were finished with the game, that was it. And pretty much in the competitive scene, pretty much the casual players, they'll play it until they're pretty much done with the game, and until they get their full experience and finish the game and move on to something else. But if you want to continue to breathe life into the game and make the game much more exciting leading up to the next generation of Smash Bros. For the next Nintendo console, you can pretty much breathe new life in it by constantly updating the game through DLC. So we're going to get into the DLC types right here, and the DLC types we're going to go with the Veteran Cast. Now the Veteran Cast DLC will pretty much be free. They'll handle it pretty much like I said like before, free DLC like how they did ARMS and how they did Splatoon. This is the Veteran Cast. Now the Veteran Cast needs to be free is because, like I said, these characters been around, the characters have already been modeled, designed. Of course, I would love to see these characters retooled to work for the new gameplay engine and whatever they have, and it works with the gameplay overall, with the gameplay system. But the Veteran Cast can come as free DLC, and of course, like I said, I will expect the characters to also be given some additional tools. Not too many, but some additional tools to work within the gameplay mechanics. And then after that, we're going to have the next category, which is redesigned clones, which this categories will be paid DLC, because the reason why I want to go with redesigned clones as paid DLC is because there are a lot of characters in here that can actually stand on their own and actually have an entirely different moveset that make them totally different from their existing character, or the character they're pretty much copied and pasted from. So it's to the point where they're so much redesigned, they're pretty much like a new character. They're a new entity, and they add a new experience to the roster. So I think redesigned clones should be paid DLC. And then we have, of course, the newcomers, which is also paid DLC, because these are characters we have yet to see in a Smash Brothers game. So these characters will be new and, of course, paid DLC. These are new characters built from the ground up, freshly designed and everything, and pretty much built around the new gameplay mechanics and the system and engine that's built for Smash Brothers Switch. So yes, these are the 3 different types: veteran cast free DLC, redesigned clones paid DLC, and newcomers DLC. So let's look through the DLCs and what characters we would expect for season 1. Season 1 will be for year 1 of DLC for this game. So season 1 DLC, let's look at the veteran cast, because this is what I have for the veteran cast right here. For the veteran cast, we have 6 returning veterans, which is Kane DDD, Meta Knight, Rosalina and Luma, Sonic, Olimar, and Palutena. Now the reason why I have Sonic in here is because Sonic is pretty much, he's a stay. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. As far as I know, he's third party and everything, but I definitely don't believe that he's gonna go anywhere as far as being like removed from the cast because of the whole relationship and how third party is handled. I think he's a permanent member of the Smash Brothers cast, and I don't think he'll ever be removed. So it's important to have Sonic back. Everybody wants Sonic. Sonic belongs here. And then we're gonna move over to, of course, the redesigned clones. Now, the redesigned clones, I really wanted Ganondorf to return. Ganondorf is really important because I'm a Legend of Zelda fan, and I was super hyped to find out that Ganondorf was in Melee, and I couldn't wait to try him out, just to be disappointed to find out that he's nothing more than a heavier Captain Falcon clone. And I was really extremely upset, because I think it's a slap in the face to a lot of Ganondorf fans out there, because Ganondorf, he can have a unique move set. And a lot of his skills were displayed in various games that he featured in. And to prove that he can stand on his own as his own character, opposed to being a copy and paste of Captain Falcon, which Captain Falcon never had a fighting game or never been outside of his Blue Falcon at all. And they based Captain Falcon off of him, which is kind of weird in a way, kind of funny. Why did they go that direction? But I digress. I think Ganondorf will be perfect as a redesigned clone as paid DLC. He's going to be a fresh new character, his own move set, and I can't wait to see how Nintendo would handle that if this becomes a possibility. And of course, we have Wolf. Now, I know you guys can argue with me and say that Wolf is not really a clone. He's a semi-clone, but I think that with more time, I believe that Wolf can also be fleshed out to be an amazing character, because Wolf is one of those characters where he was nothing but a slow version of Star Fox, and he's much heavier and everything, and I don't know, it seemed like his character felt incomplete in a way to me. So hopefully they can flesh him out more and make him stand more on his own as his own individual character. So that's what I believe they should do as far as the redesigned clones for season 1. Now remember, this is season 1, so whatever characters you do not see in season 1, there will be a season 2 character list, so don't panic. So here's what we have for the newcomers. Now, newcomers, as far as paid DLC is concerned, we gotta have Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think Rex would be perfect, and he also would have his partner beside him. And I think that gameplay mechanic would definitely, I think it'd be pretty neat. And I would like to see how Nintendo would flesh out this character. And I know a lot of you upset say, well, where's my boy Shulk? You know, why is it not Shulk time? I believe that Shulk will be perfect for, I think, season 2. As far as DLC concerned, but we definitely need some newcomers and some new blood, some fresh blood, and get everybody hyped and excited to look forward to what characters are going to be newly added to the game. But I think Rex will be perfect DLC for season 1, for year 1 of Smash Brothers for the Switch. I think that'd be awesome. And then last but not least, Ray MK2 from Custom Robo. Custom Robo should have been represented in here for a long time. This is one of those weird, unique, niche type of Nintendo games that I think definitely need some representation. Custom Robo was more so popular in Japan, but we did get a Custom Robo for the Nintendo GameCube, and I believe that Custom Robo, I think, would be a cool addition added to Newcomer as DLC. So this is pretty much how the DLC year one would definitely look like for Smash Bros. Switch. So that brings us up to a total of 38 characters for year one. I think that isn't bad at all. For year one, these are all the characters you get. You get your veteran characters, which is your free DLC, so it doesn't cost you anything. We download those. Now, as far as how they will release it, I haven't really thought about how Nintendo will release them, but I believe definitely the veterans, the first two veteran characters, one should be Sonic, and of course Rosalina should definitely come out 2 months after the game has been released, and then so forth and so on. They add on from there, but I think that will be pretty much covered for season 1 DLC. In this video, I will not cover season 2. I think I'll do that for a separate video, how they can do the other seasons and how they continue to add newcomers, because once you get the veterans out of the way, most of the rest of the DLC will be pretty much all newcomers and everything. Now, as far as third-party characters, I know you guys are wondering, hey, where's Ryu? Hey, where's Mega Man? Where's Bayonetta? Where's Cloud? Like I said, it's kind of tricky when it comes to third-party characters, and I have a feeling that all the third-party characters will probably return in Smash Bros. Switch. But I wanted to save them for the future seasons, because maybe Nintendo may have to rework out some deals with them to reacquire those rights to those characters once again. But at least we have Sonic in there for season 1. But I do believe we'll definitely see them return. So maybe season 2 we'll see Ryu, Mega Man, Pac-Man, and Bayonetta and Cloud make their return once again. But that pretty much covers it for this video. I just want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about my selection and how Nintendo should go about DLC for Smash Bros. For Switch? Should they go down the same route as how Capcom does everything in seasons for their fighters, or should they just not do this at all and just put all the characters in there from the get-go? So I'd like to definitely hear your thoughts. I also want to hear how would you go about it. I want you to take this same exact format that I have and replace my format and replace it with your own characters. What characters would you love to see as veteran cast for DLC, and redesign clones and newcomers for season 1? So like, make sure you leave that in the comment section below. I would definitely want to read through those and see your take on it, because I think it's really interesting to hear other people's opinions and how they see things differently than I do. But that wraps everything up. If you're interested in more videos like this, stay tuned for part 3. Make sure you hit that bell at the bottom of this video to be notified to when I upload new videos. And that wraps everything up. This is Mugen Lord, and I'm signing off. See you game fiends later. Peace out.